What is going on, YouTube people? Neo Cards and Comics here today to talk the current state of grading as we end 2022 and head into 2023. I've been planning on doing this video for a few days now. I ran these polls on Friday, actually, in anticipation of recording this video early this week. And there's been a lot of chat over the weekend. I saw like Bench Clear did something. I think Dan the Card Man did something. A bunch of other people have done stuff about the Bench Clear thing and kind of like this anti-PSA pushback about, like, why do we put up with all their nonsense and this, that, and the other thing? So keep that in mind, that lens, as we kind of talk about this. We're not going to focus on that. I've said my 2 cents on that, but we are going to kind of wrap that into this conversation today. We just kind of talk about the current, where things currently sit. Just broadly speaking, everyone seems to be settled into their price for the time being. I expect some sort of price shakeup special, whatever you want to call it, once we get through the new year. But I think everyone's kind of content to run out the rest of this year. Beckett's been running some various specials since Black Friday. They have different things on and off again. CSG has had their discount going, their air quotes temporary discount going for a little bit now. Not on the CGC side, though I have a feeling I expect to see something coming with that. SGC did their price change about a month or two ago. I don't remember exactly when that went down, maybe 2 months ago. They did their price change. They're sitting at $22 to, I believe, $18 a card, depending on how many you send, group submitter, that whole 9 yards. And on the bottom end, PSA is at $15 a card for bulk, with modern sitting at a pretty quick turnaround time. I've seen lots of reports of people getting things back in like around a month. I'm about to test that theory, as I'm about to send an order off to PSA pretty quickly here. And then obviously, it goes up from there depending on declared value. But I think a lot of people are just sending it at 15 and saying, upcharge me. I've gotten lots of DMs about, hey, I'm just sending this at 15. It's probably a $30 card in terms of grading fee. But I'm just sending it at 15 and they can upcharge me if they want to upcharge me, because there's not that much, with as fast as they are right now, there is not a lot of incentive for the time savings to pay the $30 level when you could just send it at 15 and eat the upcharge. If they want to upcharge you, cool. You'll take the upcharge, because then maybe it catches a 9 and then you're fine at the $15 level. Who knows? So I was curious, I ran these polls. Like I said, I did 2. We'll talk about the bottom one first. That's the one I put up first. Who will be, as it stands today, who will be your primary grading company heading into 2023? Landslide PSA, 63%, followed by SGC at 20%. Beckett and CSG/CGC basically tied in third there, and then other, which could mean any number of things, though a lot of people were putting tag on the comments to that video. These results came out. I was literally unsurprised by this. I thought this was exactly how it was going to shake out. Exactly how it was going to shake out. Up above, I then wanted to follow up with a second question. Who is your secondary grading company of choice in 2023? So if, PSA or SGC is your primary on the first poll, who's like your backup grading company, or who do you send, the bulk of your stuff goes to one place, but you send some, you send other stuff to one of the other grading companies. And SGC won that one in a landslide. Not surprising. 50% them, 20%, 22% Beckett, 16% CSG/CGC, 4% other, and 8% PSA. Obviously, PSA is going to be extremely low in that poll because they won the first poll by a landslide. Now, keep this in mind. The primary, who is your primary grading company in 2023? 63% winner, PSA. I ran this poll on Friday. The bench clear stuff from Ty had been in the news cycle for, or the original video almost a month ago, but even the current video, or the most recent video, even within a few days before that. So it had made its rounds. Everyone that was going to see it has probably seen it. The whole Nat Turner thing with the Jordan card thing happened, along with whoever knows however many else things, people complaining about grading inconsistency every other day. You see in Facebook groups and videos. I resubmitted 55 PSA 9s and 45 of them came back PSA 10s the second time around. What the hell are they doing over there? This, that, and the other thing. Narrative Street is, down with PSA, FPSA. They're idiots. They don't even look at cards. They just slap 9s on everything. that's the general vibe. Like if you just kind of read the social sphere, watch videos, this, that, and the other thing, and yet they win the poll by a mile as the primary grading company of choice. Hell, in the video, Ty even says, I continue to plan to submit to PSA. He does say maybe a little bit less, but he still plans to use PSA even after all the stuff they drug him through. SGC gets, all the praise thrown upon them, justifiably so. Great company, great customer service. Peter's an awesome guy. Fantastic turnaround times. Cool, great. Beckett obviously didn't do anything for a great portion of the boom of the hobby. They have been trying lately with updated pricing and some marketing things and potentially working on a new slab, a new label design. So they're trying to play some catch up. CSG/CGC, probably the best slab on the market. I've adamant about that. Their slab's absolutely fantastic. They have good pricing. You $12.50 a card if you're an elite member for bulk. Right now, actually less than that with their special going on right now. But you could grade cards there dirt cheap. And then the other, the tag's the big one on the other. I'm not a believer there yet. I gotta see it. I gotta see the proof in the pudding. Gotta see it before I believe it. Sorry, that's why I am when it comes to grading companies. I gotta see a track record before I kind of buy in. But all these other companies are great. No one really has major issues with any of the other ones. Maybe Beckett a little bit here and there, and they all have their warts. Don't get me wrong. None of these companies are perfect, but SGC specifically is called out as being like, man, they just do everything great. They're a fantastic company. They take care of things off the bat. That's the narrative street with them. If you asked, and like I said, go to the Sports Card Nonsense Facebook group. They're one of the largest Facebook groups in social media. Ask the question, hey, PSA or SGC, pros and cons. People will shred PSA in the comments. People will praise SGC in the comments. The one thing people will say about PSA in the comments, they sell for the most. Spoiler alert, everybody. That's all everyone gives a shit about. No, I shouldn't say everybody. A majority. The majority, all they care about is the resale value. And that is why PSA was number one on this poll and why we all continue to submit cards to them. I shouldn't say all. I'm painting with a broad brush here. Everyone calm down. If you're an SGC exclusive or Beckett exclusive or CSG exclusive. PSA wins these polls. They're grading 1 million cards a month. Why? Simple. People pay more for them. People pay a premium for the red and white label. We can all think it's dumb. Buy the card, not the grade. Everybody says it. Everybody says it. Buy the card, not the grade. Why the hell doesn't anyone actually do it? Everyone talks about it. Oh, you buy card, not the grade. Buy the card, not the grade. Buy the card, not the grade. Yeah, in vintage, 100% it does happen. Let me clarify there. Speaking strictly ultra modern. Modern to ultra modern. That's what we're talking about here. Buy the card, not the grade. Bullshit. You don't do it. You know how I know you don't do it? Let's look. Connor McDavid, Young Guns. SGC 10, average over the last 30 days, 3 sales, $1,867. BGS 95, 18 sales, average, $1,500. PSA 10, 14 sales over the last 30 days, price, $3,000. How come we're not buying the card, not the grade? Oh, wait. We don't care. People chase the plastic, not the card. And until that changes, this isn't going to change. Look, here we go. SGC 10's currently for sale right now. I could go click buy it now, right now. Look, this one's even better because it comes from Canada. It has Canada on it. It's a Young Gun Connor McDavid, and it's imported from Canada. That should make it more valuable. $2K, sitting there. Buy it now. There's an auction if you want to wait it out at $1,100. Or let's look at the PSA 10s. Oh, look at this. Currently running at auction. $2,400, $2,800, $2,200, $2,200. And then some buy it nows. Some ridiculously high price buy it nows. But plenty of auctions. Every single one of these. We have one. Let's just sort by auction here. 1, 2, 3, 4 of the reasonably priced ones. All 4 reasonably priced ones. And look, this one's from, 2 of these are from Canada, so they have the extra special stuff on them. 1, 2, 3, 4. All of them have tons of bids, way higher than the one currently at bids at SGC, and already higher than the buy it now that's sitting there in Canada waiting for someone to come get it. So if we care so much, why does this sit? Until this changes, that's not going to change. It's as simple as that. People care more about the resale. They will sacrifice the customer service, the turnaround time, the inconsistent grading. Why? Because of this right here. That right there. That's why. It is literally as simple as that. So if you want it to change, everyone out there that complains in the comments, trust me, anytime I do a grading video, PSA is trash, blah, 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 blah. SGC is the best. And then what'll happen, someone writes SGC is the best right below it. Sure as shit, within 5 minutes of that comment going up, someone will comment, yeah, but they sell for like 40, 50% less than PSA. Dead company, bro. Happens every single time. Go look back at my older grading videos or any video I've ever done on grading. Guaranteed there is a comment about SGC and someone commenting on it about how they resell for less. And I'm focusing on SGC here, but you could sub in any one of the other two, BGS or CSG. Spoilers, I know I could have Peter on, he'll tell me his graders are the best. I could have PSA on, they'll tell me their graders are the best. I can have Beckett on, they'll tell me their graders are the best. I could have CSG on, Andy will tell me his graders are the best. I can have Tag on, he'll tell me that the computer that sits there is better than all of them. Other than maybe Tag, because we really don't know, it's an AI, air quotes. Of the big four, in all honesty, they probably grade fairly similar to each other. Sure, you could probably sit down and run a bunch of tests and see which one's actually better and do a bunch of data. But from a macro level perspective, I would be willing to bet that they probably all actually grade fairly similar to each other. They won't admit that to each other. Once again, they'll all say their shtick, and people in the comments will say their shtick too. It's fine. But when you look at the gem rate numbers in terms of gem percentage, they kind of shake out pretty evenly. We've talked about that before. In regards to the amount of cards that PSA gems compared to BGS, compared to SGC, compared to CSG, it kind of makes sense when you look at the numbers. SGC and CSG's numbers are always going to be a little bit lower because they have a 9.5. PSA is going to be a little bit higher than that because it's either going to be a 9 or a 10, so you split the difference. BGSs are always going to be a little bit higher because they have a BGS 9.5 with subgrades. You get a little loosey-goosey in there on the amount of gem cards you could get because it'll give it a 9 corner, and with most other grading companies, it would just be a flat 9. But because of the subgrade averages, it bumps it to a 9.5 min gem. So they're always going to have the highest. I mean, that math all checks out. That tells me that, relatively speaking, on an in-mass level, they all grade basically the same. Yet, PSA gets 1 million cards a month. SGC gets, I don't know, whatever they're doing, 80,000 cards a month, 70,000 cards a month. I don't have the gem rate data pulled up in front of me right now. And people want to say, well, I don't know more people use this company or that company or X company. This is why. This is why. Here's another example. I pulled a couple. We talked about this in the Sunday video the other day. J-Rod. Once again, this price, I almost didn't want to use this because this price is going to fluctuate a lot because it's a brand new card. PSA 10 base J-Rod. This is a $5 card out of the pack, maybe a $4 card, whatever. It's super cheap. PSA 10 is going for last sale, $125. SGC 10 is going for $65. Right now, it costs, if I wanted to send, I've been opening a bunch of baseball product. I got 10 cards I want to send in. If I want to send that in to SGC, I could call up Bobbles if I wanted to go through a group submitter. $18 a card, send them off, get them back. I could send them the PSA for $15 a card myself. I don't have to go through a group submitter because of the special they're running right now. Will SGC get them back to me faster? Yes. PSA is going to take a couple extra weeks, but let's just assume this market holds. It probably won't. They're probably both going to come down another probably 10 to 20% regardless. The PSA 10 selling for almost double the SGC 10. That's what's going to drive the business. Here's another one. Here's a bigger one. Michael Jordan, 88 Fleer. These all have recent sales. That's why I pulled it all within the last 2 weeks or so. SGC 10 did $2,200. A PSA 10 is averaging $3K. A BGS 9.5 last sold for 1,000. Now, I don't know the subgrades on that. Maybe it was a min gem. Maybe the centering was really bad. Don't know. I didn't look at it. But that is pretty low compared to the other two. Now, going back, you're looking at an 88 card. SGC competes a little bit better. This number is a little bit closer together. That's still a pretty big gap, though. That's almost a $725 gap between those two cards. And once again, I wanted to kind of keep this more focused on Ultra Modern. I thought this Young Guns was a perfect example because it's a bigger card. It transacts fairly often and has a very established market. So it's pretty good to grab data off of. But until you all are running out there and smacking the bin on this one sitting there at 2K and continuing to bid on these ones that are in the red and white label, none of this is going to change. It's not. We could complain about it all we want in videos. I could do it. Dustin could do it. Whoever could do it. Preach the saintliness of one of the other grading companies. None of it matters. They could keep screwing up orders. Nat could keep doing random stuff. Doesn't make a difference. Now, could it change? Sure, absolutely. Will it change? Not until this does, because we care more about the money than we do about the customer service and everything else at this point. Maybe as more time passes and things kind of flush themselves out, maybe that shifts. But at the same time, who's to say PSA doesn't get their shit together? They fixed the backlog. Nat came in, said, hey, we're going to fix the backlog. We're going to get that stuff fixed. They did it. It took them a while, but they did it. According to PSA, the next big thing that they want to work on is customer experience. What if they said it 2023, we are cracking down on customer experience. We are going to nail this. They've fucked it up the entire year this year, or most of it. What if they come out and they just nail it? They just nail it in 2023. Now what? What happens then to the grading company market? If PSA is nailing the customer service aspect of it, if they could figure that out, that's the biggest flaw they have right now. They have market share, they have capability, they have secondary market prices, they have all the marketing in the world. All that's on lockdown. Their worst thing is customer experience. They could probably fix that if they really, really wanted to. Hire the right people, get some training done, figure out some processes, get it fixed. Then what is everyone else going to do? Because that's where everyone else's edge is on the customer service and on the edges. If PSA figures that part out and then everyone's like, oh man, PSA is just nailing it. They called me, my card was messed up. They credited me full PSA 10 value. They also gave me a couple $100 in PSA credit, sent me a little hat, sent me a backpack, patted me on my butt and sent me on my merry way. What's going to happen when that stuff starts happening? Maybe it doesn't. Maybe they keep being a disaster and can't get out of their own way in the customer service aspect side of things. Who knows? On the flip side of this, I see a lot of people say, SGC, man, or I keep using SGC, but just insert random grading company here, but we'll just keep using SGC for this example. Sorry, Peter. People keep saying, SGC, they need to get it together, man. They need to do something. They need to lower prices. They're dead. They're done. Guys, girls, they're still grading like 60, 70,000 cards a month. I'm not SGC's accountant. I don't run their books. You're not. That could be really good for them. They could be perfectly happy with that. If PSA shut down tomorrow, SGC would instantly have a massive backlog. It would be a mess. They don't have the capacity to handle that. As much as Peter would probably like to, they can't grade 1 million cards a month. I'm willing to bet. I haven't asked him that question, but I'd be willing to bet if PSA said, you know what, we're not into this card thing, we're closing doors. Peter at SGC probably having emergency meetings 24/7 for a week straight, trying to figure out what the hell they're going to do. They can't handle that load of volume right now. They may not ever. Who knows? They might be an extremely profitable business grading 60 to 80,000 cards a month, whatever they're doing. We don't know. So everyone freaks out and is like, oh my goodness, this, that, the other thing. Guys, they could be doing great. Just because they're not number one, just because you guys want to see them grade 1 million cards a month or be the number one grading company or have the best resale value or this, that, or the other thing. And once again, insert any grading company here. They might not need to be number one on the mountain to run a completely profitable business. Sure, they all strive to be number one. It's going to take time. But keep that in mind. They could be running a perfectly healthy, profitable business. Hey, cool. All the investors could be happy. The owner could be happy saying, great, like, look, yeah, we brought in X amount of dollars this year. We're doing great. We turned a profit. Even as the market's trending down, we're still doing well, even with the money that we put out to expand in new offices and this, that, and the other thing. We are in the green. They might not need to be number one. Everyone wants them to be number one or this company to be this. Keep that in mind as well. So if you don't want PSA to be number one anymore, you need to vote with your wallet. And guess what? It's not with grading submissions. That's not the part that matters. I think that's what people are missing. It's not about you sending the 10 cards off to PSA or SGC or CSG or Beckett to get them graded there. That's not what's going to swing the market. Clicking bin on stuff like this instead of stuff like this. If you truly want to move the market, if you truly believe in SGC, if you were truly buying the card and not the grade, vote with your wallet on the secondary market, because that drives grading submissions more than anything else. And this proves it. PSA was an absolute disaster the last 30 days for two major issues. The Nat Turner thing, followed up by the bench clear media thing. I asked the questions. 63% of people lined up and said, PSA, take my cards. I have an order going off to PSA later this week. I got to figure out everything that I want to send. I'm going to bundle it up and send it out. Be a video probably late next week. Maybe probably put the video up next week for it. I'm waiting on one or two more things to figure out what I want to send. I'm shipping out an order for them too. Why? Because of this. Because I am grading to resale. That drives grading demand more than anything else. That's all I got for you guys and girls today. Catch you on the next one. Peace.